What's up, everybody? Joe Patrick here at Dirty South Soccer with another update on our Football Manager save. I feel like it hasn't been that long since our last one, which it hasn't in real time, but we've progressed about, 6 months, 7 months since in our calendar here on the game since our last update. So just want to kind of take you through what happened. We did not get promoted. We are still in the championship for another year. Unfortunately, things just didn't go our way. I honestly thought we were going to make a charge up the table. We were after we made those signings that we went over in the last update, but things kind of fell apart, and we stopped scoring goals. Those definitely dried up, and we just didn't get the results that we needed down the stretch. We actually put ourselves in a position to make the playoffs, but it didn't happen. So we go again. Some major things happened in the offseason. Not so much having to do with the playing staff, but we will go over that. Let's go over that first. Fortunately, I thought a lot of our players from last year were going to want to leave. Not many did. I think Joseph was the only one who had some Premier League teams coming in for him. I think West Ham wanted him. They've been keeping tabs on him quite a bit last year. But he didn't throw a fit, didn't demand a transfer. The only one who did eventually hand in a transfer request was Florentine Pogba. We just weren't playing him enough, and he honestly had the ability to go out and play. I think he's at Wigan now. I would have loved for him to just sit on our bench and be available for us as a left back or a center back whenever we needed him. But best of luck to him at Wigan, and we'll continue to check in on some guys. Also, we had to get rid of Eric Rometti. He went to Alaves in La Liga. His was a work permit issue. I would have loved to have just kept him on. He was pretty solid, but we would have had to give him way too much in terms of wages just to give him a work permit so that he qualified for a work permit. So he is out, and we don't have too many new faces. So unbeknownst to me, the loan deals that we made for both Tyler Adams and Ryan Brewster, who's a top Liverpool academy product, those were both for about a year and a half. So we have, not only did we have Adams and Brewster for the last half of last season, we have them for this entire season too, which is perfect because I would have wanted to try to bring both of those guys back this year anyway. So we get another full year of Tyler Adams, and hopefully, if we can get promoted, which I think we can definitely do this year, I would love to see if Leipzig would be willing to sell us Adams permanently. It's something I would be interested in pursuing. We've also looked at Miguel Almiron. He is potentially on the radar, but as for this season, he's just too far out of our price range. But we could try to bring him back if we make it to the Premier League next season. So I mentioned the big news. The biggest news of all was, boom, look at this. Okay, so Darren Eales, senior squad president. You would think that pretty much matches what his job title would have been before. And that might be accurate, but now he's actually the owner of the club. I got a message midsummer. What was I trying to do? I was trying to make a deal for Tyler Adams. At this point, I didn't realize that Tyler Adams was still on loan all this season. I was going to try to extend the loan. I couldn't because they had placed a transfer embargo on me because the club was up for sale. Then I get a message that the club was up for sale to Darren Eales and a consortium of investors he'd rounded up from Chelmsford, which is just classic Darren. Get a bunch of British investors involved in buying Atlanta United. So he has bought out Atlanta United from Arthur Blank. It is now Darren Eales' club. Fortunately, before he left, Arthur Blank injected us with about $11.5 million worth of an investment, and our transfer budget and our payroll, it was similar to what it was last year. So we had some money to work with. We were able to reinforce in some certain positions. And the budget is still looking sketchy. We've obviously gone way down from where we were when we started the save, but we'll try to keep it afloat. I think that it's not going to be an impact at all. Basically, the difference between having Eales and having Blank. I think that if we get too low on our finances, we will get the proper injection that we need to keep us afloat. So, but it's something to keep tabs on. We obviously don't want to run this the club in an unstable way or an unsustainable way. But we obviously need to take our risks and push for the Premier League. I mentioned the couple areas that we reinforced. We had to reinforce at goalkeeper because I had sold Alec Can. Someone, I think the Philadelphia Union, had put in an offer for him toward the end of last season, and I figured, you know what, might as well get some cash for him. I don't see, he wasn't long term. Obviously, he's a pretty mediocre player in this game. So then I was basically only down to Guzan, and Guzan retired. So we actually did sign Guzan back to a goalkeeping coach role with our academy team. So that's good to keep him around. And we went out and we bought Jack Butland. I think he's got he's got 11 caps for England. So I think Jack Butland's a guy we could have around for a while. It's a big upgrade at the role. And then we also signed this guy, Bryce Samba. We needed 2 goalkeepers, so just got him this backup. Where did we get him from? Got him from Nottingham Forest. So he's been around a little bit, but we got him on a cheap £1 million deal. Also reinforced at right back, Kelvin Amian, which I'm sure is exactly how you pronounce his name. French international, has 22 caps for the U21 team in France. That's pretty good. He's pretty kind of a no-nonsense right back, but we needed somebody other than Franco Escobar out there, and I think that Amian will actually be our top choice right back for most of the season. So looking forward to seeing what he can give us. We have a game against Blackburn Rovers here. We just ended the transfer window in the fall, so we're just starting the new season. We're 2 games in. Drew won our last one, and Ezequiel Barco so far has been amazing. He was a big disappointment last year. Thought he could have performed much better, but he's come in this year, scored a couple just bangers already, and hopefully that continues in this game against Blackburn. And I'm just trying to Vlad Dragomir was a player we picked up in our last video that we did, and he's been great. He was one of our best players last year, so get him in the squad. We need to get George Bello back in. We just played a Carabao Cup game, so we have some backups in. Oh, I forgot to mention, we signed this guy, Kipre. He was a guy I was actually looking at in the January window, but I just wasn't quite sold on him with his mental attributes at the time. Turns out he was transfer listed, so we got him at a really cheap price. I think, what was it, $3.4 million, so that's a great deal for a player of this caliber, and he agreed to basically be a role player this year, like a bench player, essentially growing into a starting role down the line in his contract. So very happy that, I'm totally down with that. I just didn't want to sign somebody who planned on being a starter and then gets upset when they don't get the minutes. Looks like Jonathan Gonzalez is back. He was on international duty with the Mexican youth team. So we'll get him back in the squad, and we will put in our primary ball-playing defender back in. I have taken playing out of the back off of our tactics. I just felt like it was putting Miles Robinson in a bad position. He is not a ball-playing defender, and I just think that the team will function much better this way. All right, kickoff against Blackburn. Here we go. The attack has been much better so far in this save. I was a little worried because what really hurt us down the stretch last year is we just weren't scoring any goals. So hopefully this will be better. This is Jonathan Gonzalez's first appearance of the season. Oh, and Dragomir scores right away. His first game of the season as well. He's been on international duty with Romania to start the year. So what a way to introduce yourself. I'm glad he finally got himself on the scoreboard after not really getting on the score sheet much last year, despite having such a great season. I did notice he had some great long shot attempts last year. They just happened to get saved. All right, another highlight. Here we go. Having some success on that right side, it appears. Escobar to Villalba. Fiorentina came in for Villalba this offseason. Didn't want to sell him, though. He was too productive for us last year, and here he is again with the ball. Oh, what a goal. That's why we didn't sell him. Hector Villalba, take a bow for that one. Assisted by Escobar on that right side. They've been having some success over there. Dragomir involved as well. Medeiros also involved. Would love to see him add a little more to his game, and what a finish to the top right corner on the postage stamp. Beautiful goal. That was a classic Tito goal, just firing one in as hard as he possibly can. We are also pressing a little more this season. After I figure we embedded into the tactics for a year, everybody's more comfortable and we can take some more risks when we're off the ball. And there's a nice play by Bello, really being aggressive, getting the ball. And is he going to take it all the way? Oh, just misses. I like that aggressiveness, though, from Bello there. He's really improved. I keep on getting notes from Carlos Bocanegra and some of our other personnel saying that Bello is really just taking more and more steps to improve, and his attributes are really growing. You can see it in his, if we take a look at his profile, much better player, much more well-rounded than he was even just a year ago. You can kind of use this yellow area to kind of get a a baseline of where you want them to be, and he was well below, kind of almost touching the orange, kind of coming in. So good to see him really developing well. Now, can we keep the clean sheet too? That's something want to kind of get better in all areas. To be perfectly honest, we were not good enough, especially defending set pieces last year, and apparently that is something in Football Manager 20 that is difficult. And here we are defending one again right here. And thought they were going to get on the end of that one, but we survive. All right, well done, Dragomir. Hits it up to Joseph. Joseph going 1-on-1. Saved. He did score a great goal, just very similar to that, except he banged it at the back post in the last league match. Hitting the 65th minute, everything seems to be going well. Don't know if I necessarily want to make a change. Medeiros looks like he could use some, though. Barco, is he going to make something happen? Oh, there he is. There's the man. That is, I think he actually scored last year, but good to see him get on the scoreboard as well. I had never heard of this guy, but he's got perfect traits for like a playmaker type, either from cutting in from the wing or playing in behind the striker. It's been tough because I have him involved, and it's been tough not to go out and splurge on some other attacking midfielders that are coming at a cheap price. All right, let's make a change here. Let's see if we can solidify things a bit. Medeiros, he just scored the goal. I might want to take him off, though, and get Adams on just to make us a little bit more solid in midfield. Let's do this. Let's get Adams in there in midfield, and we'll make him a box-to-box midfielder. And I think we can put in Leao for Joseph, make him a complete forward to let him exploit all that space in the middle of the field. And hopefully these guys can see us through. It's going to be a tough, interesting season to see what happens with the striker position. Leao is very good. He and Joseph are both about the same, except Leao is about 6 or 7 years younger. So, oh, what a goal from Barco. Man, he is really turning it around. Already his third goal of the season in our third league game. And they've been good goals, too. I've been playing him more off the left instead of behind the striker, and I wonder if that's just going to suit him a lot better. But what a result here. 4-0. Don't even need to make the final sub. That is as smooth of a win as you can get in this game. On the road, our road form has really been generally very good all season. Anyway, that is where we are, and we will continue. We're going to march on this save as much as we can, as quick as we can in the coming days. So we'll continue to put up these videos to kind of just update everybody on where we're at. We might not do one this January because I expect it to be pretty quiet, and I'm going to be moving through this save pretty quickly. But we'll see where we are. If there's major things I need to update you on, I will post. But hopefully the next one you see is one from the end of the season with us getting promoted. So with that said, we will see you guys then.